Disciple, Venerable Buddha, I bow down and ask for your guidance on one thing that always troubles my heart. I have heard from many people, both lay people and practitioners, that true wisdom is not found in reading books, learning, or accumulating more knowledge. They say that the true light only comes when we let go of everything, letting go of possessions, letting go of thoughts, and even letting go of the desire to become a better person. I have thought about this a lot, and a big question keeps echoing in my mind. If we let go of everything, what is left for the mind to grasp and understand clearly? Is the intentional act of trying to let go just another form of accumulation, only this time we are trying to gather peace and emptiness? Is letting go a new burden that people place upon themselves? Please, Lord, help us see the truth about this relationship between holding on and letting go. The Buddha, my child, you have asked a truly precious question. It is the key that opens the door to liberation for many. I see that your mind is standing between two river banks, wondering whether to move forward or retreat. Do not worry. This is the struggle of all who seek the truth. Listen to me say this, and let it settle in your heart. Wisdom is not in the hand that tightly holds on to everything out of fear, nor is it in the hand that deliberately opens out of a craving for emptiness. It is found in another place, a very simple, very close place. It is found in the clear knowing of when something needs to be held for the sake of compassion, and when the hand should be open to let things naturally pass. My child, the first thing you need to see is the difference between two great currents in your mind, knowledge and wisdom. People often confuse these two, and that is the root cause of much clinging. Knowledge is like you collecting pieces from the outside. You read, you hear, you memorize laws, formulas, and philosophies. Knowledge is the mind's act of gathering, accumulating more information like a jar being filled. It is the memory of yesterday and the day before. Knowledge is necessary for you to live and work in this world, but it cannot end suffering. But wisdom is a completely different light. Wisdom is not about how many things you can remember, but about you seeing the true nature of everything happening right now. It is not gathering, but recognition. Wisdom is the direct insight, without the screen of learned language or concepts. It is like you don't need anyone to teach you about the feeling of heat. You just need to touch the fire to know. Knowledge can help you explain the world, but wisdom helps you live in harmony with that world. Knowledge is the map you carry, but wisdom is the eyes that help you see the path you are walking. One is a tool for measuring and analyzing. The other is the awakening to feel and to see. When you stop trying to stuff things in and begin to quiet down to look, you will see the door of wisdom opening. My child, look deeply into the root of human accumulation. It often does not come from a real need, but is an inherent habit of a mind that is afraid. Accumulation becomes an automatic reaction to one great fear: fear of emptiness, fear of scarcity, and fear of change, of impermanence. People fear that if they don't gather words into their heads, they will become inferior. They fear that if they don't gather wealth into their stores, they will have nothing to protect themselves with in the future. They even gather beliefs and rigid prejudices to feel that they are standing on a solid foundation amidst a constantly changing world. They mistakenly believe that the more they have, the safer they are. But the truth is completely the opposite. Accumulation only creates a psychological burden. Everything you gather requires you to guard it, protect it, and fear losing it. That tight grasp is not a safe house, but a self-made cage. You must see that a mind trembling with fear cannot receive wisdom. Wisdom is the ultimate courage. It is the ability to look directly at the changing nature of all things, without needing to hold on to anything to shelter oneself. A soul full of anxiety can only take on more burdens but cannot open to receive the light of liberation. Therefore, do not confuse material richness or knowledge abundance with inner strength. Wisdom never grows from fear. It can only blossom in a soul that has let go of trembling and accepted the truth. My child, I see your struggle living in a world of constant change. You worry about having to learn more knowledge, having to accumulate wealth to cope with rising costs, and to not be left behind. I know that in this life, adaptation is a form of wisdom, and true wisdom never asks you to stand on the sidelines of society or become poor, either materially or spiritually. However, what I want you to look deeply into is the difference between conscious holding and accumulation driven by a reaction of fear. There is an abyss between these two. When you study or gather because you clearly see the real needs of life, you learn a new language to communicate better, you accumulate wealth to care for loved ones, you practice skills to serve the community. These are acts of a mind that is awake and courageous. They stem from compassion and responsibility. You are using what you accumulate as effective tools, not as your masters. Conversely, most people act from a mind that is constantly trembling. The fear of emptiness, the fear of scarcity, the fear of being judged, these very fears drive them to gather more and more without end. This tight holding is not preparation, but clinging. They fear that without more degrees, they will not be valuable enough. They fear that without a lot of money, they will not be safe enough. They constantly pour into the jar of knowledge, but the lack is deep inside their soul. No matter how much they achieve, they still feel not enough. This feeling of not enough is the greatest burden created by fear-driven accumulation. You must see that a soul covered by anxiety cannot receive wisdom. Wisdom requires loosening the grip and trust. When you try to hold on to too many things, too much knowledge, too much wealth, too many expectations, those very things bind you, causing you to lose the flexibility to adapt. Learn and accumulate, but always ask yourself, am I doing this because of a real need or because of the fear of imperfection? Wisdom does not ask you to throw away knowledge or money, but it helps you master them. Wisdom is the ability to use everything you have while keeping your soul free, not drowned by fear. My child, after clearly seeing the burden of accumulation, people often turn to the other extreme. They turn letting go into a new form of craving. They hear that letting go leads to peace, so they begin to crave that peace. You see, they create a new form of clinging, but this time, they cling to the very idea of letting go. They try to push away all thoughts, all emotions, everything they have, hoping that this emptiness will bring eternal peace. And they want to let go in order to achieve some spiritual state. But look deeper. The act of trying to let go is also just an effort of the self that wants to control. It is not freedom. When your mind sets the goal, I must let go of this to gain that, you have fallen into another endless loop. You are turning letting go into a reverse accumulation, accumulating merit, accumulating purity, accumulating the title of the one who has let go. True wisdom cannot come from force or craving. The peace you seek is not a destination you must strive to reach through the act of letting go. It is the natural result when you stop trying to hold on or trying to let go. Just like when you stop chasing your shadow, and naturally, the shadow stops. When you turn letting go into a goal, you are still controlled by desire. Only when you let go of the desire to let go can you truly see genuine liberation. Peace is not a reward for those who know how to let go, but the natural state of a soul that has ceased clinging to all concepts, even the concept of letting go. My child, After seeing clearly both extremes, accumulation driven by fear and the craving for letting go, listen to me speak about the true nature of letting go. People often misunderstand that letting go means throwing away everything they have: house, work, responsibilities, or loved ones. That is not it. Letting go is not the act of discarding material things or running away from responsibility, but a change in your mind's perception. You do not need to shun the external world, but only to change your relationship with your inner world. The core of letting go is ceasing to identify yourself with what is not real. What is not real here? They are the illusions of permanence, certainty, and an unchanging self. You cling to the thought that this is my body, these are my possessions, this is my fame, and treat these constantly changing things as your true nature. Letting go is when you realize the thoughts that come and go are not me. The fleeting emotions are not me. This body will age and become sick. It is not me forever. When you stop identifying yourself with these impermanent and changing things, you no longer need to try to throw them away. They are still there, but they no longer have the power to bind you, because you have clearly seen that they are only temporary phenomena. When you let go of this identification, the psychological burden automatically falls away. This is not coercion, but the freedom that comes from right view. You do not throw away life, but you throw away the wrong idea about life. My child, after hearing about letting go of attachment, some people who do not see clearly fall into another misconception. They think that if wisdom is letting go of the accumulation of knowledge, then wisdom means knowing less, being ignorant, or having little understanding of the world. They think, I just need to live simply, no need to study much, no need to think deeply. But that is not the path of wisdom. It is neglecting your own mind. Wisdom is not a lack of knowledge, but seeing deeper and seeing more correctly. I say, true wisdom is seeing deeper, not knowing less. You can learn many things, know a lot about the world, about science, about people. That does not hinder wisdom at all, as long as you do not cling to what you already know. The problem is not the quantity of what you know, but how you use that knowing. Wisdom allows you to see the limits of all knowledge. You know a lot, but you also know that all knowledge is relative and can change over time. You no longer try to defensively protect what you know, but are always open to learning new things. Therefore, do not fear learning or accumulating knowledge. The important thing is knowing rightly. Right knowing is seeing the nature of impermanence in all things, seeing the suffering caused by clinging, and seeing the path to end suffering. A wise person can have vast knowledge like an ocean, but their mind remains light and does not cling to any drop of water in that ocean. That is the true power of wisdom. My child, the world often uses extreme words like, let go of everything. If that saying is understood mechanistically, it will lead to a great misunderstanding, causing people to reject the most fundamental values of life. I ask you, if you let go of everything, should you also let go of love? Should you let go of kindness, responsibility, or your awareness? If you let go of these wholesome qualities, your soul will become cold and rigid. That is not the path of the sages, but a selfish escape from interaction and responsibility with the world. Letting go without love is not wisdom, but indifference. If you see others suffering and you let go of the desire to help them, that is not liberation for you. It is creating an additional wall of separation. Wisdom does not ask you to let go of the act of loving, but asks you to let go of the clinging to the result of that act. You love without expecting a return. You help without waiting for thanks. This form of letting go makes your actions pure and no longer creates a burden. Therefore, do not turn letting go into an excuse to reject responsibility. Letting go is an action of the mind, not a rejection of external things. Keep your love, keep your awareness, keep your responsibility fully. When you do that without clinging, that is wisdom. My child, many people think that to achieve the truth, they must go to a faraway place, a high mountain, or a secluded cave. They believe that wisdom is leaving this world, which is full of troubles, to go to a pure land. I tell you, that is not necessary. Wisdom is not leaving the world, but seeing the world exactly as it is. This world is where everything happens according to the natural laws of impermanence and dependent arising. Happiness and sorrow, creation and destruction, success and failure are all temporary phenomena, like clouds passing across the sky. The person lacking wisdom tries to hold on to the beautiful cloud or tries to push away the bad cloud. They fight the flow of life. But the person who has wisdom sees clearly. This is only a cloud. They do not need to run from the rain or chase the rainbow. They are there, seeing everything come and go. But their mind remains undisturbed. Wisdom allows you to live fully right in the middle of life's stream. You still work, still love, still feel joy and sorrow, but you are no longer controlled by them. You no longer identify yourself with your roles in this life. The truth is nowhere else but right in this moment. You do not need to search for another pure place, because your mind has become pure. The world is not the trap. The trap is in your clinging mind. When you see that clearly, you have brought the peace of the Pure Land right to where you are standing. My child, do not view knowledge and wisdom as two opposing enemies. They are not opposed. They are two sides of the same path leading to awakening. I will explain to you their harmonious connection. When people accumulate the right things, they call it knowledge. What are the right things here? They are accumulating the skillful means to live, to help others, to maintain life. You study medicine to treat illness. You accumulate patience to overcome challenges. This is necessary knowledge, the foundation for you to act in the world. And when they let go of the right things, they call it wisdom. Letting go of the right things is letting go of things that cause suffering, greed, anger, delusion, the clinging to the illusory self. This letting go is not a blind action, but the result of clear seeing. This causes suffering. I no longer need to hold on to it. Thus, knowledge helps you identify what needs to be kept to live usefully and what needs to be let go of for the mind to be free. Knowledge is the torch you use to light the way, and wisdom is your ability to see that path. Both need each other. If you only have wisdom but lack knowledge, you might let go of everything blindly, leading to useless emptiness. If you only have knowledge but lack wisdom, you will accumulate forever and become a slave to what you have gathered. The path of the wise person is to walk between those two banks. They use knowledge to act intelligently and use wisdom to let go of attachment. The two are not opposed. They are complementary, creating a life that is both useful to the world and liberating to the soul. My child, look at the deepest purpose of learning and accumulating knowledge. Initially, you learn because you want to know everything. You want to gather all the universe's truths into your mind. You think that the more you know, the stronger you become and the more control you have over life. But the path of true scholarship leads you to another door, the door of humility. We learn in order to know what we do not know. The deeper you go into any field, the more you see that what you already know is just a small grain of sand compared to the boundless ocean of truth. The ultimate goal of accumulating knowledge is to realize the limits of your own mind. You gather until the very end, only to see that no single concept, no single theory can fully capture life. It is the moment you see that limit of understanding that letting go naturally occurs. You do not need to try to forget what you have learned, but only need to let go of the clinging that what I know is everything. When you acknowledge your limit, you no longer have to stubbornly defend your knowledge. Your mind becomes vast like the sky, accepting all ideas that come and go. When you fully understand the uselessness of holding on, letting go is no longer a task to be done, but a natural liberation that comes from the truth. This is the accumulation that leads to letting go, the knowledge that leads to wisdom. My child, this is a crucial point that people often confuse. They see letting go as the path to achieve wisdom. They try to let go before they see clearly. I tell you, letting go is the result, not the path. You cannot let go of something until you have truly seen the nature and the consequences of what you are holding on to. Think of a person holding a piece of burning coal. Do you need to teach that person how to drop the coal? No need. The clear vision of the pain and danger will automatically cause the hand to open. The act of letting go is simply the natural consequence of that seeing. Similarly, a person who has not clearly seen the suffering nature of greed, anger, and clinging and tries to let go will only fall into a false emptiness. They might try to push away one thought, but another will arise. They try to push away one emotion, but another will take its place. Because they are only dealing with the surface, not yet seeing the root of the problem. Only when wisdom shines, helping you clearly see that this clinging is the cause of all my suffering, only then does letting go become easy and natural. That letting go requires no effort. It is like taking off a coat that is too tight when you see it is making you breathless. Therefore, don't focus on the act of letting go. Focus on the act of seeing. When you see clearly, letting go will come like a shadow after intense sunlight. My child, what I want you to understand most deeply is this. True wisdom is not in the act of letting go, but in the seeing that makes letting go happen naturally. People often think letting go is an event they must perform, something they must do. But the truth is, wisdom is a state of mind. It is the profound understanding of things, which allows the mind not to need to strive for liberation. Let's return to the image of the hand dropping a heavy object because it has understood the pain it causes. That understanding, the seeing, is wisdom. The act of opening the hand is only the external manifestation. Wisdom is the inner teacher, who does not need to speak a word, but only needs to shine a light. A wise person does not need to declare, "I have let go." They simply no longer feel the need to hold on. When ambition, anger, or clinging appear, they clearly see their empty nature. They see they are not real, have no fixed self-nature, and are not worth sacrificing one's inner peace for. The letting go driven by this seeing is a complete, regretless letting go. It is not an abandonment due to force, but the free choice to live lighter. Just as you do not need to fight with a falling dry leaf, because you know it is the law of nature. Wisdom is seeing things according to their natural law. My child, I will use the simplest analogy for wisdom and letting go: light and shadow. People often try to drive the darkness out of a room. They fight, they wave their hands, they shout, but the darkness remains. The effort to let go without clear seeing is like you trying to chase away the darkness. I say, wisdom is the lamp, and letting go is the darkness disappearing because of the light. You do not need to fight with clinging, with fear, or with ambition. You only need to light the lamp of wisdom within yourself. This lamp is the awakening, the clear seeing of impermanence and non-attachment. When the light of wisdom flares up, the darkness of ignorance, of craving, of attachment will automatically vanish without any effort from you. You do not need to make the darkness go. The darkness goes by itself because it cannot exist in the light. This is the difference between painful striving and natural liberation. The person who tries to let go will become tired and despair. The person who lights the lamp of wisdom will see everything naturally settle into its right place. The light of wisdom is the only energy that can transform the darkness of clinging into peaceful emptiness. My child, the lesson on wisdom and letting go has come to a close. I hope your heart has found where peace and serenity reside. Remember my teaching. It is not the act of letting go or the act of holding that creates wisdom, but the mind that knows why it is doing that action. When you keep a promise out of responsibility, your mind is at peace. When you keep possessions to help others, your mind is serene. When you let go of a stubborn opinion because you see that peace is more important than winning, your mind is light. Every action is illuminated by a pure motive. When you have deeply understood the truth of impermanence and clinging, letting go is no longer an effort. It is merely the natural consequence of right seeing, just like dropping a burden after realizing it does not belong to you. The wise person is not one who throws away everything, but one who is bound by nothing. They walk through this life with a hand that can hold out of love, but a soul that is always loose because of understanding. They can live amidst the noise while maintaining inner stillness. Live like this. Live in deep understanding without attachment. That is the path of wisdom. I wish you to always see the light of truth right within your own heart. Thus, my child, we have traveled together through the journey of understanding wisdom and letting go. Let these teachings soak deep into your heart, not as a philosophy to be memorized, but as a truth to be experienced. Remember, wisdom is not letting go, but the seeing that helps us know what is not worth keeping in the heart. True letting go is not something you have to do tomorrow, but the cessation of trying to hold on right now. You do not need to fight with greed, you only need to see clearly that it is an illusion. When you see clearly, it will vanish. We have seen three types of people on this path. 1. The accumulator who does not understand. They are weighed down by the burden of possessions, knowledge, and fame. They are slaves to what they own. 2. The one who lets go but has not seen. They try to create emptiness, but ultimately fall into a false emptiness, then seek something else to cling to. They are victims of their own craving for peace. 3. And the wise person. They are those who walk between the two banks. They hold when needed, to act with compassion and responsibility, and they open when sufficient, so their soul remains free and unbound. The wise person lives fully in the world, but their mind transcends the world. They do not cling to letting go, nor do they fear holding on. They simply live in right view. May you find freedom right within every breath.